Shabbat Shalom, Sister Jeannie.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right, here we go. Go back over here. All right, there we go. Plain and simple. All right. Some stuff around. What's going on? All right. That's that. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Today, one of the words that I want to teach you is called moedim. Moedim. Okay. Mo, and this is pronounced as dim, D-I-M. Moedim. Moedim. Okay. Moedim basically means appointed times. Okay. It's appointed time. It's a time in which the creator of the heavens and the earth has designed, okay, for his people. These are times in which are only exclusive to the children of Israel. Okay. In our Torah portion this week, bo, meaning to go or to come, which we found out earlier this week that bo means to enter. Okay. Bo means to go. Let me get a different color here. Bo means to go. Easy. Okay. Or to come. Okay. And it means to feel, to enter. What? A void. Okay. So when Yah asks Israel to leave, and he's telling them that I need you to go, I need you to bow. Okay. And telling, Pharaoh to, telling Moshe, go bow to Pharaoh, go to him. And telling Pharaoh, let my people go or send my people away. And in many times, this word is used several times through this Torah portion. Okay. Not only in the sense of this word, but also of going in and leaving out. And that's why Moshe kept going back and forth, is because Yah had him doing this over and over again. Okay. And in that, in chapter number 12 and 13, Yah begins to tell us about an appointed time. Okay. It's the first time that Yahweh mentions an appointed time is in chapter number 12 and 13. Okay. Does anyone know what that time is? Anyone knows when that appointed time is? Let's take a guess. The first appointed time, the first Moedim.
Pesach.
Pesach. Okay. Pesach. Okay. Pesach. Does anyone know what the word Pesach means?
To pass over.
Yes. Yes. Pesach means Passover. Okay. Or skip over. Okay. That's what it means, to skip over. To pass over, to skip over. Okay. It also has this idea of limping. Okay. All right. So this is in the first appointed time that the Holy One of Israel has ever mentioned. It's called a Moedim. Okay. In the Hebrew, there are roots to a word. Okay. Roots tell you what is the actual essence or the beginning of something. Okay. So the root of this word is called moed. Okay. And that would be like a 3-letter root. Okay. But there's also what they call a parent root. And if you're in the Hebrew class, you know a parent root has how many letters? How many parents do you have?
Two.
You got 2. It's easy to remember. 2. Okay. So there's two letters inside of this root, this child root here, in which are the E and the D. Okay. Okay. That's represented by an E and a D, but the Hebrew letters are different. And I'm going to show you what those are. So within this word Moedim, this is the word that is going to tell you what the parent is. Okay. This right here is an added letter. Okay. And so is this one. Okay. Which makes it an adopted. And that's a whole nother teaching. Okay. These last letters here, the E represents plural. Okay. Plural, meaning more than one. Okay. So Yah has more than one Moedim. Okay. He has more than one appointed time. He has several appointed times. Okay. What is today?
Shabbat.
Today is the Shabbat. And the Shabbat is an appointed time. Yeah, I'm saying I want to meet with you on this particular time, on this particular day. Okay. So Yah doesn't only want to meet with us on a daily basis with prayer. Okay. But Yah would like to meet with us on a weekly basis as well. Okay. And he would like to meet with us on several different monthlies. Okay. On different months. Okay. And there's specific times when he says, on different years, I want you to come before me. Okay. And these are all the different times. Okay. Well, more specifically, that has to do with his time. The daily for you is establishing the relationship that you want to have with the Creator. Okay. I want you to hear what I'm saying to you. It's up to you. Okay. Because we're not priests. Okay. But it's up to you. They have religious things that tells you how many times you pray today, which is 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. You have the Muslim faith that prays 5 times a day. Okay. You have some people that pray more than that. You have somebody who prays once a day. Okay. The relationship of your prayer and your daily prayer has to do with your appointed time that you would like to appoint to spend with Yah. Yah's not forcing you and I to do this. This comes from what's within your own heart or mind. Okay. We can choose how to spend our time with the Holy One of Israel. Okay. From our own way. Okay. Like, some of us are married and have children and have family. You determine how much time you want to spend with them. Some of us are kind of, doing our own thing, and we give our husbands a little bit of time, and we might give our kids this amount of time. We may give this amount of time to television, this amount of time to conversations with friends. We have this amount of time to business. We give an amount of time to study. We give amount of time to, meditate. So you got to figure out what your time frames are. That's what you do. And that's something that you have to figure out. And what's working best in your life for you. And I got something to tell you. Yah's desire is to spend as much time with us as we want to spend with him. He says that I will draw close to you if you draw close to me. It's up to you. If you want to spend your time on worthless things, like I have in some instances, go for it. It's up to you. And that's not something that can be forced. So my whole point of mentioning this is because Yah is letting us know that you can choose. It's like your kids. You got kids who are going to be close to you, and you got kids who love you, but they're not going to be close to you. They don't want to be close to you for whatever reason. So Yah's telling his children, I want to be close to you, but I'll be as close to you as you want to be close to me. But one thing's for sure, though, I want you to make these times, because these times here that you spend with me are times in which I'm going to tell you about who you are through these times. You're going to find out who you are through the appointed times. You're going to find out what your role is, and not only your role, but you're going to find out what your character is. I'm giving you your character here. I'm developing your character. Okay. Remember, the book that we're in is called Shemot. Okay. And Shemot has to do with the idea of the what? Somebody tell me. Come on, you guys are students. You're not religious people.
Times.
The
I mean,
name.
numbers, names, and numbers.
The names. And your name is your what?
Character.
It's your character. That's what we're talking about. So, Yah, this book that you and I are studying is about our character. So Yah gives us different names in this book, and he introduces new names to us so we can look at the name and say, okay, well, what does that mean? So this whole idea of the book of Shemot is about, what does these names mean? What you gotta dig deep. We've been taught just to skim coat and read over stuff and just keep running and say, well, Yah, he brought the people out, and that's the story. He brought the children of Israel out of Egypt, and he destroyed Egypt, and he hardened Pharaoh's heart. Everybody knows that. So what are the secrets that the Holy One of Israel want to reveal to his children through this book? I'm going to show you a secret today. I'm going to show you something that you've never seen before. Okay. And it's going to be because of this in particular word. Everybody loves secrets. Hey, did you hear? Hey, did you know? Hey, guess what? I got a secret. I want to tell you something. Do you know that our Elohim has secrets? He has secrets. And David had asked Yahweh to reveal to him the secrets of his Torah. Show me the secrets. Now listen to me carefully. I called you guys the wise ones, and I meant it. You are special. You understand? You are definitely special. Holy One of Israel. You are special. You are so special. You're more special than what you even imagine. You're special. And I'm not being funny. I'm being real. You and I are very special to the Holy One of Israel. But the only way, let's all say it, the only way, the only way that the Holy One of Israel is going to tell you any secrets is if you spend time with him. That's the only way you're ever going to know the deeper things of Yahweh. The revelation, everyone wants a book. That's why people love the book of Revelations, because they want to find out what's going to happen. Everybody's enamored with, the imagery of the beast and the false prophet and all this kind of stuff, and the angels and the wars in heaven and and what's going to happen in the mark of the beast. Everybody's super excited. The whole world is enamored with this type of thinking. They're so concerned about the things that they can't see, touch, smell, feel, or anything. And that's the reason why they need the Spirit. You don't have the Spirit, brother. That's why you don't understand. Because, right? So you need the Spirit in order to understand those things. God's telling us that I don't need you to have a spirit. The only spirit I want to give you is my spirit. And I haven't given it to you yet. But the only thing that I'm dealing with you right now, okay, those of you who follow me, it's going to be your character. I don't care about anything else but your character and your conduct and who you are. Okay, you guys are not, we're not religious anymore. Everybody should have a pen and paper in their hand because you're wise and you're students and you're Talmudim. You're the ones who follow after the teachings of Moshe. He didn't write this down for us to be a Sunday school lesson. He didn't give this to us so I can tell you, yeah, you know, God promised he gonna bring us out. Yeah, he gonna bring us out of here. Yeah, we gonna get out of here real soon. Yeah, Revelation, and there's wars in heaven and God and angels and Christ, and you know, he died for. You can forget about all that. That's all over with. Okay. He wants to deal with our character. So show it to me, Dawid. You said that I'm not serving him. So what am I doing? Well, right now you're keeping an appointed time. Right now, you're keeping the Shabbat, which is one of his Moedims. Okay, now let's continue. It's a lot. In the book of Leviticus, we have what they call the understanding of what a Moedim is. It says this in chapter number 23. And everything that I put up here, I want you to go back and read it. You have the day. You have at least 12 hours of sunlight today to spend time with your Creator so he can talk to you. He talks to us through his words. When he's talking to Moshe, he's only telling Moshe what to tell the children of Israel. You and I are the children of Israel. Okay. And he says, and say to them, and you got to understand why Yahweh, the self-existing one, chose this man. And you look at his name means to draw out, to pull out. Okay. So when Moshe's talking, the whole goal of this man is to bring out or draw out what Yah wants us to hear out of what he says. He was pulled out of the water. He was drawn out of the water. You understand? Anytime you deal with Moshe, it's like you're drawing something out. It's like you're putting in, it's like you're like Pharaoh's daughter. It's like you're reaching in and saying, hey, I see that over there. Go get it. And then pull it out of the water. And then you pull it out and it's this beautiful baby. And you say, oh, this is one of the Hebrews. And you have compassion on the child and you keep it and you take care of it. And you say, look, let me nurse it and bring it up to a point and hold it as if it's my own. You got to look at the story. You got to look at why God mentioned that part of the story. We got to draw him out. We have to go and get him in order for us to understand, because without Moshe, you and I will never have heard the teachings of Yahweh. That's what Yah wanted us to know. So those who decide that they don't want to listen to Leviticus chapter number 23 because, they think it has to do with the Levites, which this word really is not Leviticus. This is a Greek word This is the Greek name that they gave to it. Okay. The real name is called Yikra. And Yikra means and he called, which we're going to get into after we get through the book of Shemot. After we deal with our character, then we're going to find out who he called. And who did he call in the book of Leviticus? He called the Kohanim. He called them in the tribe of Levi to serve him. There's a family that's supposed to be the servants of Yahweh. It's just out of that family, which Moshe is from that family. That name, called Levi, is really Lewim. Okay? The Lewim. Okay? The Lewim means to what? Anybody remember? What does that name mean? Join. Yes. To join. So Moshe is joining, okay, Yahweh to the children of Israel. And in that name, Lewi, listen to me. If I wrote his name out, it begins with a lamed. And what does the lamed mean?
Authority.
It's
Leadership.
authority. It's the staff. It's also known as a yoke. So he's yoking. Yahweh is putting the yoke. That's why he says, go say two. This word two is El. Okay. The strong authority, the strong staff, the strong yoke. I'm yoking myself to the children of Israel. I am the more experienced older ox, and they are the younger ox. Lewi. Okay. The staff, this tent peg here, means also to join, because that's what a wa is. A wa is a tent peg that joins the tent to the ground and adds stability. The yod here is the hand, which means he in grammar. You understand? The yod is on front of all words, and the number one yod is Yahweh's first letter of his name. He's joining himself to us through this family. This family will continue on forever. So Moshe is the staff, okay, that joins him to the children of Israel. So every word that this man here says is drawing to be drawn out. He's telling us things about ourselves that need to be drawn out. We don't want to know the truth of ourselves. I confess to you on Yom Kamishi, which is Thursday, okay, the 5th day of the week, I said some stuff to you and I was like, why did I say that? Why did I all of a sudden feel it necessary to tell the class that I needed to reflect? And I needed to be a certain way. And I'll share more of that later. Sorry for digressing. But I'll tell you about that a little bit later in our study today. The Moedim, he says the appointed times, which are the Moedim, because that's what it is, the Moedim, of Yahweh, which you shall proclaim. I need you to proclaim this as a what? As a holy convocation, as a holy gathering. Yah introduces this to the Israel in chapter number 12 of the book of Shemot. So he tells them that, hey, this is going to be something for you. He says, these are my appointed times. These are my times that are set apart. These are, when it talks about holy, is Kodesh. That's set apart. Then you also got another word called Quodesh. Okay. So what's the difference between Quodesh and Kodesh? Well, Kodesh means that it's set apart. It's holy, set apart. People get this confused. Quodesh or Quadash has to do with a month. Okay. Just depends how you, excuse me. It's just the opposite. Excuse me. Opposite. Forgive me. Quo is set apart. Ko is month. Praise the Holy One of Israel for my catching it. Quodesh is set apart. Kodesh is the month. You can write that down. Quo with the cough, which is this letter right here. And then it has a dalet and then a shin. Okay. That right there is set apart. So if you say Quodesh, that's different than Kodesh. Kodesh is a ket, a dalet, and a shin. They're two different words. Okay. Very similar in the dalet and the shin, but the first letters are different. The quo has to do with holiness, and the ket has to do with a month. Okay. And when you look at that letter ket, and then the dalet, and then the shin, meaning a month, this letter right here, this in particular letter called the ket, is a wall. And the wall is used for what? Separation between two things. Okay. I want you to hear me. The ket right there also is the first letter in what Yahweh called a quoque. Okay. Which would be a ket and then a ket and a kof, excuse me. Okay. So there's a connection, meaning the wall of separation that has to do with a month. Yah separates months by the moon. Okay. That's what he uses. He uses the moon to separate months. And you'll know the separation of the time by this in particular light called the moon. Okay. Which is not called Kodesh. It's called Urayak. It's called a Urayak. Hopefully I spelled that correctly. Okay. But when Yah's koch or his decree is called a koch, and that is, let me clear this out. You can feel free to ask me any questions if you get confused. This is not something I planned. This is just something the Holy One of Israel just showed me because I haven't seen this before. This is called, and I'll put it in English, it's called a CH. That's what this letter right here is. And then they have a dot or a wa, and it's called a koch. Okay. That's what they will call a law or a statute or a decree. It's like when Yah says something. Remember, he says that I've given you my kukim or my kokims, and I give you my statutes and I give you my decrees. And sometimes this word law is translated as Torah, and that's incorrect. A koch is not Torah. Law is not a Torah. That's mistranslated. Torah is not law. Torah is what? Who knows what Torah is?
Instruction.
Thank you. Torah is instructions on how to perform all the kokim and the mishpatim, which are the judgments. Okay. the mishpatim, which they call judgments. So you need the Torah is an embodiment of instructions on how to carry out the judgments, which is the mishpatim, or how to carry out the decrees. Those are the instructions. Okay. So when Yah is giving, so when it talks about Yah, praise the Holy One of Israel, when Yah is talking about giving Israel and telling them something, when Moshe is speaking to them, as you see in this in particular verse, he's telling them, listen, when anytime Moshe is speaking to them, he may be telling them about a koch, which is a law or a statute. He might be talking to them about a mishpatim. I have to put these words up here so you can get it. Mishpatim, which is a judgment. Okay, mishpat. Or he might be talking to them about what you got right here, a moedim. And every time he tells these things and he starts speaking this to these people, the speaking to them is the Torah. Because the Torah is Yahweh's voice and is Yahweh's instruction to tell. That's why he's telling it to Moshe to say and says, speak. This is a command here. Is it one of the commands that we're supposed to follow? No. It's a command that Yahweh is giving to Moshe to tell him what to say to the children of Israel. Okay. The commands are called mitzvah or mitzvoth, woth, plural. It could be mitzvah, it could be mitzvoth. It could be kukim or kukai. It could be mishpatim or mishpatai. It could be mishpat. It could be any of those. And so, dealing with different words, you can either say it to one person, you can say it as a command, you can say it as a cohortive to a first person, second person, third person, all the different ways you can say it. But what I wanted you to know is that when Moshe is talking to the children of Israel and Yah has said to him, and he gave him a command. So Moshe was receiving commands as well. His commands were different than our commands. His command right here was his mitzvah was speak to the children of Israel. And he did what Yahweh said. And it said, say to them. The say to them is this quotation up there, the appointed times, the Moeday of Yahweh. These are the Moeday, meaning Moedim of Yahweh. It's put Moeday right here because it's in a grammatical way that anytime you got two nouns next to each other, you got to drop off what they call the mem, which is supposed to be right here. That's something in grammar. If you know grammar, then you would know that. But it's still the Moeday, the Moedim. This means Moedim. Even as it doesn't have that M on the end right here, it's still Moedim. You have to, what they call, arrange it in a different way when you have two nouns together. So it just says Moeday Yahweh. It couldn't say Moedim Yahweh because grammatically it doesn't work that way. But it still means the same thing. It's a grammatical rule. Don't worry about it. Which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations. This is plural right here. Okay, that's plural. So I need you to remember that you need to call these things out. To proclaim it means to say it with your mouth and with your actions. I need you to do it with your mouth and your actions. Forgive the writing. This device is tripping today. You understand? When Yah's asking us to do something, he's asking us not only to do it with our hands, but also with our minds. And that includes your mouth. You can proclaim something, but it doesn't make sense just to say it. Our Elohim is telling you and I, when you call out something, oh, praise be to the Holy One of Israel. The word here that's used for proclaim is the same word that's used in this word called wa yikra. That yikra right there is which they call kara, a kof, a resh, and an ayin. And that means to call out, and that's what that word here means. Just like Leviticus is, that's why it's in the book of Leviticus. It's because Yah was asking them to kara, to proclaim it. Therefore, if you proclaim something, you will have to do it. If you're claiming that you're Israel, and that's what your claim is, then you're going to have to do what Israel does. If you and I proclaim the name of Yahweh, then our lives and our manner of life and conduct have to match exactly what that means. If you believe and claim that he exists while calling him Yahweh Wahe, then you would have to say that there is no other. But you will only find these things out is if you take responsibility for your manner of life and conduct. These are not magical recipes. These are things that Yah said that you shall proclaim. Holy, Kodesh, gatherings, Mikra, to gather. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a minute when we talk about, well, what should we do now? Because we're in exile. So what are you talking about? Why is this important for us to be studying it? He says they're my appointed times. And in Hebrew, it more than likely, when he says the mishpodei, okay, or moadei, they're his. They're his times. They're my appointed times. They're my moadei. And that's why I'm asking you to call them out to be and exist as set apart gatherings. And that set apart of being holy and Kodesh for you and I has to be set apart. Set apart, just like Kodesh means to be set apart, is the same word that's used for prostitution. Why would he use the word Kodesh for prostitution? Because I really want you to know the difference between that which is clean and unclean. I'll give you just the complete opposite. A prostitute is unclean, but she's separate from a normal woman, a clean woman. That's why Israel's daughters can't be prostitutes or whores. That's why Israel cannot behave this way, because you and I are set apart. And what sets us apart are the Moadims. You are, and set apart means to be made special. As I told you, you are a special people because I'm going to reveal to you my set apart times. Nobody else on the face of the earth has this proclamation. I didn't ask anybody else to do this. I didn't ask the Canaanites. I didn't ask the Yebusis. I didn't ask the Kiwis. I didn't ask the Moabites. I didn't ask the Ammonites. I didn't ask the Amalekites. I didn't ask the Imris. I didn't ask anybody else to do this except for you. That's how special you are to me. I've given you set apart times because you're a set apart people. And I want to spend time with you. And I want you to prepare to spend time with me. Praise the Holy One. Get out of here, come back. Something happened. Go back to it. Oh. What happened to my share screen? Oh. Boy, this is crazy. I got to find it. All right. So this thing is trying to give me a hard time. Okay. So let's do this. Uh, uh, what do you guys see on the screen besides my ugly face?
We see the background, like I see the wall. And,
Okay. Okay. So you don't see.
No,
Okay.
we don't see anything.
All right. So this is nothing but an opportunity here for this thing to start acting crazy. But I'm definitely going to let me get out of here right quick. All right. I hate when that happens. I'm on a roll and my flow is going, and then I got to deal with this nonsense. That's it for you. All right. Well, it's starting to act crazy. So. All right. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm not going to lose. I can't lose the I can't lose the what we got going here. See if I can close it out. While I'm doing this, does anyone have any questions while I'm trying to? Okay, what do you guys see now?
You?
Okay. Oh, okay. All right, so you see me. All right, well, let's see if you can see this. What do you see now? Do you see my screen?
See what you have. Yes.
Okay.
Now you're back. You're back.
Okay, good. Awesome. All right. So praise the Holy One of Israel. All right. So listen. So a mo'aday is a moedim, which the action of this word means to repeat. Okay. So when I told you this is a time of repeating, okay, this is what this word means. It means to repeat. It means to do something over and over and over and over again. Okay. And the abstract of this word means a witness. I told you earlier in the week that you and I are not in service to Yahweh, and it hurt our feelings. It hurts our feelings when I say that we're not in service. It makes us angry because, like, I want to be in his service. You do want to be in his service, don't you? Of course you do. You do want to serve him, don't you? Yes. But the root of this word tells us something about what this whole appointed, because remember, Moeday means appointed time. It's appointed to repeat over and over again, like you go to your job and you got a schedule. You need to be there, or a doctor's appointment. You need to be there. It's appointed. So you go over and over and over again. Okay. And because you're going over and over and over and over again, you are now a witness to something. Okay. Because when you go there, you see something. So the root of this word is an ayin, which is the eye. It's an eye. Okay. Like the eye that you have that you can look at stuff and see. Okay. It's your eye. I told you that Yah uses all our senses. We have 5 senses that he uses. He uses our sight. He uses our ears, our mouth, our touch, our smell. He uses all of it. Okay. And so the next letter is a dalet, which has to do with a door. So what does it mean? So when you put these 2 letters together, it means see the door. That's what we're doing. Okay. Every time you go to your job, you see the same door you're walking in. Okay. Every time you go to the store, you go in the same. Every time you go to the same doctor's appointment, you see the same door. Well, in our sense, in our case, the door that we're seeing is what they would call the tent of meeting. The tent of meeting, when Yahweh would talk, praise be to the Holy One of Yisrael. When Yahweh would speak to Moshe, listen to me, When he would speak to him, he would speak to him only in a tent of meeting. When he brought the children of Israel, Yah didn't just, Moshe was just walking around and he just talking to Yah there. He was a special place. That's why we need to listen to Moshe, because Moshe was the one who was going into the tent of meeting. Over and over and over. He was repeating it over and over. So every time Yah would go and talk to Moshe, Yah would say, speak to the children of Israel. Yah would tell Moses, here, go do this. He would do that when he went to the tent of meeting. After he received the information, he went out of the tent of the meeting and went and told the children of Israel what Yahweh said. Then when he wanted to go back, and Yahweh would call him back to the tent of meeting, and Yahweh would speak to him at the tent of the meeting. Coming to the tent of the meeting, a tent or the tent of the meeting, and entering in. That word enter right there is bo. Bo means to enter, to go into. We're thinking bo is just to go, go out of the land of Mitzrayim, and that's what Yah wanted to tell us. Yah's not talking about us just leaving Mitzrayim, because you and I are not literally there at that time. We are in some form of slavery and bondage, and we have been in here in the lands of our enemies who were scattered all over the place, all over the world. So the United States of America is not the only Mitzrayim. Hear what I'm about to tell you. Yah's saying, when you go into the tent of meeting, when you enter into that place, okay, it's at a very specific time or an event that is repeated again and again and again, like the what? What are you doing today? Shabbat. And guess how you found that out? Moshe. So every time you and I are listening to Moshe, it's as if you and I are going to the tent of meeting. Because Yah's saying, oh, you better hear what I'm telling you. Your evidence of going to the Shabbat on a weekly basis, you are a witness. You are a witness. We're witnesses because we're going to the same place or event time after time after time after time, again and again and again and again, thereby becoming witnesses with your eyes. And what does your eyes have doors?
Yes, eyelids.
Thank you. Your eyelids are your doors. If you opened up your eyes today, your doors are open, and guess what you saw? You saw the sunlight. You looked in the mirror and you saw yourself. You saw the glory of Yahweh. I'm looking out my window right now as we speak, and I see these trees and these clouds and these birds and these insects. I see the grass and the bushes and the fruits. I see it all, the shrubs, the leaves. I see the wind blowing. I opened my eyes. And today I kept my hand and my mouth and my mind from doing anything. I got phone calls that I didn't answer about business things that I had done earlier the week. But I withheld my hand. Now, I want you to look carefully. The two letters that we're discussing right now are these letters. The ayin, which is the eye, and the dalet, which is the door. Okay? The ayin, like I, and the dalet, which is the door. Dalet. Okay? As D. Okay? And this represents what they would call an A or an E, depending on how you look at it. Okay? So, this word right here is what they would call an adopted root. It's adopted into the family. Okay. Because the parents are 2 letters. Adopted roots can be 3 or 4. Okay. So I'm giving you some little grammatical game on this. Okay. Now, who are the parents of this in particular adopted root? Who's the parents? Well, let's go find out who the parents are. Because the children and the parents are very similar. I mean, my son is a combination of myself and his mother. So what he's going to have is characteristics like me and his mom. You know how some of your kids look just like you and some act just like you? Well, that's what some of these words do when their parents are there from their parents' roots. So here's the parent. That's the parent. The parent is the ayin and the dalet. This is a word, and the word here is called witness. Again, the root is an ayin, and the next letter is a dalet, which is a door. Okay, and you combine these, it means see the door as coming to a tent of meeting and entering in. And entering again is bo, to go into the entrance, to fill it, a place or a time or an event that is repeated again and again. And it can be anything. So why is this so important for us to understand that we're the witnesses? Because by you being a witness, you are now someone that Yahweh says that you have seen what I have asked you to do. In the book of Yashayahu, okay, that's the book of Yashayahu. If you don't know what this name is in English, it is called Isaiah. His real name is not Isaiah. His real name is Yasha, Yahu. Yasha means to deliver or rescue, or they call save. Yahu is a derivative of the name of Yahweh, of Yohe-Wahe, Yahu. Okay? That's what his name is. So it could be Yahweh delivers or saves and rescue. And salvation and rescue and deliverance has to be doing to be made safe. Question: has Yahweh delivered you and I? No. Are you and I living in safety?
Nope.
No. Do you have food security? Because that's what safety is,
No.
security. Do you have food security?
No.
No. And let me just ask you a question. How does that make you feel? How does it make you feel to know that you don't have food security, to know that you're not safe, and to know that at any given moment, things can go really, really bad for you?
Concerned?
You need to be concerned. So because we have concern for our safety and we have concern for food security, because if there's food security gone, there won't be any security for the family. And if there's no food, no security for the family, then you can come to an end, and that's it. And then there won't be no new generations. It's an end for you. So let's hear what this salvation, when Yah delivers, what did this prophet called Yahweh's deliverance and Yahweh's salvation say in chapter number 43? What does he say? There you go. You are my witnesses. My meaning personal pronoun, you're mine. You're mine, possessive. You belong to me. You're my witnesses. And witnesses there is called edim. Okay? Or if I'm not mistaken, it might be adof. TH. I got it. I'm writing the English and stuff backwards. I'll write it here. Adoth or Adoth. Plural, singular. Okay. You are my witnesses. You're the ones who have seen what I have done. If you want to know what they witnessed, you can go to the book of Deuteronomy, Davarim, chapter number 4 today, and you can talk and you can find out what did they witness. That's some homework. That's some good study to find out what did they witness. Why is he calling them my witnesses? And my servant whom I have chosen. Even though you and I are not serving Yahweh right now, he still considers us his servant, even though we're not in service. We are his servant, but you're not serving right now. The reason why you're not serving him right now is because there is no temple. There is no land for you to go and bring him anything. You say, well, all I have is myself, and that's all he wanted. I didn't want sacrifice and offerings. All I wanted was is you to open my ears. Yeah, God wants that. God would say, yeah, you wanted a clean heart, renewed mind, and a steady spirit. You didn't desire it. Otherwise, I'll bring it. And so the Christians and the Hebraians will take that and say that God's not interested in sacrifices, which I'll show you today that is a complete misunderstanding. I'm going to be very careful with my words because it's just a misunderstanding. They don't understand what the Torah or the Tanakh is saying. Yah does say that I didn't ask you for that. Well, what are you saying? You didn't ask me for that. But why are you demanding it? Because I want it. I just didn't want it the manner that you wanted to give it to me. I do want it, but I don't want it the way that you want to give it to me. You understand? It's a way on how we do things. It's not that Yah doesn't want something from us. It's the way that we do it that he doesn't want. If you and I are not going to keep the Shabbat and honor it and give any, treat it kadosh and treat it holy, he says, I don't want your Shabbat then. If you're not going to make a Shabbat special, including your meals, and you treat it like every ordinary other day, that's not a Shabbat. A Shabbat is not just in the time of a meeting time. It's a special event. It is kadosh. It is set apart. Every aspect of this day has to be different, and it has to be special. I don't care if you got to wash your plates. Period. Stop being lazy. Go get the china out. Go get the glasses out, because this is his day. But when we get complacent and we get lazy, and we all do, I'm guilty of it. I don't sit here like a holy malachim, like I don't make mistakes. The mistake I made this week this week was this. I didn't give Yah the best of my time. And I didn't recognize and I didn't realize that it was he who wants to give me and spend time with me. I thought because I read and I study and I do this and I do that, and then I've given hours and hours and hours and hours. And he says, that's great. Well, what about just meditating upon me? You don't want to do that, huh? You just want to read and study so you can show people the language. When the idea of you even being with me and me being with you is for us to be together. I don't care how much time you spend with a person. It has to be a meeting of the mind. It has to be a sense of cooperation within it. You both have a want the same things. How can you spend time with somebody when you really want to be close to them and they don't want to be close to you? You can feel it. How can we two walk together unless they be in agreement? How can you accept so much from me, but yet when I want to spend time with you, you don't have no time for me? You want to put other things and other people and circumstances ahead of me. I hurt the Creator this week, and he showed it to me this morning. You mean you can hurt Yah? You can hurt his feelings? Yes, you can. He doesn't want to be with me from an intellectual perspective. He wants to be with us because he wants to be with us. Do you get that? He wants to spend time with us. The creator of the heavens and the earth has decided to be our Elohim and to treat us special. He treated us so special that he gave us a certain day out of the week that he wants to spend with us. I know you guys' lives are busy. This is what he's saying to us. I know your lives are busy. I know you got 6 days to do your work, but spend some time with me. It's literally like him begging us to spend time with us. The creator, the one that gave us the air and what we can see in the sun and the moon and the stars, and has provided for everything and demands the oceans not to go past a certain point, and has made the stars innumerable, and is giving heat and light, wants to spend time with us. And we make up every other reason and excuse why we can't. Our jobs have become the priority. Our businesses have become the priority. Our children have become the priority. I'm guilty. And I'm thankful that he showed it to me. Even though I might fall, Yah is still holding my hand. I won't fall headlong. He will not allow me to get destroyed. But he allows us to fall. But he's yet still holding our hand. We are the witnesses of Yahweh because of everything that he's revealed to us through his servant Moshe, the prophet. Moshe had revealed to us what the Moedims are. And the reason why he chose us to know about the Shabbat, chose us to know about Pesach, chose us to know about Matzah, that chose us to know about Shavuot, that chose us about Yom Teruah, chose us, you want to hear me? The Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, chose us for Sukkot, because they're my appointed times that I want to spend with you. I killed every firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim to prove to you that I love you and that I want to establish a day for you to remember that I watched over you to protect you. I rescued you when people would not even come and even get you. There was not one nation that went up to Mitzrayim and said, hand over to the people of Israel. Yah could have sent somebody in there to get us, but he didn't. He said, I'm going to come and I'm going to get you myself. Oh, bless his name. I'll send someone to give you notification that I'm coming. I will do my signs and my wonders to show you my power. So you can tell your son and your son's sons and your son's sons about what I've done and extended my hand towards you. I've used this as an opportunity, as a memorial, to let you know on a yearly basis that I rescued you and that there is no one else except for me. I've chosen you, whom I have chosen as my servant. I chose you because the word chosen has to do with the firstborn. It has to do with the word bakar. Bakar. That means chosen. That means the firstborn. That means the one that I watched over. That means the one that I examined to be for me. You're mad at me because I chose you out of all the peoples on the face of the earth to be my witnesses? You're mad at me because I chose you to serve me and to be holy and to have a special diet? You're mad at me? Because I told you not to eat that which is unclean. I told you, do not mess with these people. You're mad because I chose you to be separate and set apart and kadosh to me. I made the examination. I chose you. You didn't choose me. It's my choosing first. And then after I choose you, I want you to make a decision that you want to choose me now. I've chosen you for nothing but good. I've chosen you to be the people for me, to represent me on the face of this earth, to show people the difference between that which is righteous and that which is clean and unclean. I chose you. You're mad because I didn't choose somebody else? You're wondering about, well, what about these people? What about them? The people that you're so worried about, are they going to be the one who's going to deliver you? Are they the ones who are watching over you? No. They have no regard for your lives. I'm the one who loves you. I'm the one who wants to be close to you. I'm the one you should be spending your time with. I'm only showing you this so that you may know and believe me and understand that I am he, and before me there was no Elohim form, and nor shall there be any after me. Even I am Yahweh. This is my name forever. This is the name that I came to you while you were in your captivity and bondage. I don't care where you're locked up, where you're being held captive. Doesn't matter where you're at, because no matter where you are, I'm going to come and get you from all the different places that I scattered you. Because I want you to know. And I want you to understand. And I need you to put support and trust in me. I have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is no one else but me. You want to hold on to somebody else? You want to tell me about somebody else? You want to mention to me about another Elohim that you call Yeshua? Or the Christ of the New Testament? And claims that he's my only son? And then nobody saw me except for him. And nobody knows nothing about what I said except for this guy. Because somebody told you? Somebody else made mention of this guy and you bought that line? There is no other Elohim form. There shall never be anyone after me. I do not care where you begin and where you end. It's always going to be about me. It's always going to be, there won't be nobody before me. There will never be anybody after me. Don't you get it? My witness is my servant, me, and I am Yahweh. These are my Moedims. You have your own moedims that you try to come up with in Christmas and Easter and New Year's and all this stuff to get you off of me from being at the place that I told you to be and at an appointed time that I said. I have declared and saved. I have proclaimed, yes, kara, that there was no foreign God among you. So when Paul the apostle comes and tells you and I that Christ was the one that was in the Mitzrayim, he's the one who let the children of Israel out. You're a liar. A foreign God is anybody except for the name of Yod-Heh-Wav, the name that is mentioned 6,828 times. 0 times is this name ever mentioned in the New Testament. Not one apostle, not one disciple, not even the Christ himself has ever mentioned this name. It's not written anywhere. Therefore, when he's making reference that there is no Elohim, when he says, I have declared, he has already done this and he has saved us. He's delivered us from Mitzrayim. And he's letting us know in the book of Yeshayahu, mentioning Yahweh's salvation, that I have already proclaimed these things. I'm not looking for another servant. You are my servant. And because you're my servant, you are my witnesses, and you shall therefore know that there is nobody else. So when you're looking for somebody to save you, you need to understand it is I who's going to save you. That's why I told you what my name is. In Exodus chapter number 3, verse number 15. That's going to be forever and ever and ever. That's why in Exodus chapter number 6, Shemot, I told you that I did not reveal my name to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They knew me by the almighty El Shaddai, but you will know me by this name. Every time Moshe went to Pharaoh, he told him, thus said Yahweh, the Elohim of the Ha-Ivrim. The Hebrew people's Elohim is named Yahweh. I am Elohim. And indeed, before the day was, I am. There is nobody else. Before I even created a day, before there was even a day, before there was even light, before there was even darkness, before there was anything, there has always been Yahweh. There is no one, Israel, that can deliver out of my hand. If you're destined to the sword, you're going to the sword. If you're destined to be living, you're going to live. If you cross me and think that I'm going to let you go, you are mistaken. Because I'm full of righteousness and justice, and I will execute my judgment upon all the earth, and then you'll know that I am Yahweh. You and I are special. We're the most special people, and you can look at that in Deuteronomy chapter number 7, verse number 6. I've chosen you out of all the peoples to be a segula to me, a special treasure. And if you don't want to live up to that, that's fine. I'm going to wipe you out. You won't be among the people, because if you want to practice wickedness, you're not going to be there. You're not. Because that's a profanation to who I am and what I represent. I care about the widow. I care about the stranger. I care about the fatherless. I care about those who are poor and needy. And that is your job, Israel. I'm choosing you for service to do my bidding on the earth. But I'm going to have to teach you and guide you because you don't know how to do it. The Moedim is seasons. There are no Moedim in the winter. None. There are none in the winter because winter represents death. There is no life in the winter. None. Nothing's growing. It's part of the cycle. It's still part of the cycle. Not that it doesn't exist, it's just part of the cycle. The cycle of life. I chose to give the children of Israel this day. It is my memorial. It's my time of a vigil, meaning to watch over Israel. I watch over Israel every year. From year to year, from Shana to Shana, I watch over. I watch over them like a shepherd watches over its sheep and his flocks. I have my eye on Israel. I've chosen the firstborn out of all the sons and animals to be given to me because of this time. And when you offer your sons and your animals to me, and I'm not talking about offering your son to death, I'm talking about offering your sons to my service, and they have to be redeemed. Redemption, okay? The sons are going to be redeemed by the family of the Lewiim. They're going to take the place of these sons. So, because I chose them to join Israel to myself. So in lieu of the sons of Israel, I'll take the firstborn of the Lewiim in their place. And also of the animals, I want the Leviim's animals to take the place of Israel's animals. So your animals, the firstborn, will be taking the place with the Leviim's animals because they're the ones that I chose to serve me. I have this chart that I created here to show you the cycles and the Moedims of Yahweh. They are the appointments that Yahweh has for us, okay? There's 7 in number, and that has to do with the yearly cycle. Okay. The Shabbat is a Moedim. So there's more than 7, but these are the yearly cycles. Okay. So this one right here is going to be on the 14th day. This one right here is going to the first month, which is the month of Aviv. Okay. If I put it in the proper letters, it would be A-B-I-B, Aviv, but it's pronounced Aviv because the V sound is really from the B. Okay. So the 14th day, and matzah is going to be on the 15th day. That's the following day. And that's when you eat unleavened bread. Okay. This is the day Yahweh killed the firstborn, the Bakar. This is the day that Yah says you're leaving. They left Mitzrayim, which is Bo. They went out on that time. Okay. Then He gives us a festival called the first fruits. Bikurim, which means the chosen ones, which has to do with Bakar. Again. See? So Bakarim right here, Bikurim is called the chosen, which that has to do with the firstborn. The firstborn is also right here, the firstborn. So you're seeing a theme of the firstborn. Okay. Israel is Yahweh's firstborn son. That's what he calls us. We are his firstborn. Okay. Then he goes on from there to Shavuot, which is a festival of a feast of harvest, of a harvest time. You're going to have that in the summer. Aviv right here is in the spring. This is the beginning of our months. And this is in Exodus, which is called Shemot, chapter number 12 and 13. Okay. So Yah tells us here about Aviv. Okay. Then you have, of course, the summer, which is harvest time. And then you have here the winter, the autumn, which is the Yom Teruah, the blowing on the shofar, to let you know that the Day of Atonement is coming up. Okay. And then you go from there to another festival called the Ingathering, which is the Feast of Sukkot. Okay. So the one that we're focusing on today is Pesach and Matzah. Okay. Yah says he's doing this. He killed the firstborn. That was his last plague that he hit Pharaoh with, because Yahweh wanted to create this in particular time for Israel as a memorial. He wanted us to know that there was a difference between us and the rest of the world. And that includes Egypt. Israel has made a complete distinction between Israel and the rest of the world by this first event. We are so special that Yah says that I'm going to give you your own calendar. I'm going to give you your own beginning of months. So your months are going to be different. Okay, your months are going to be different. And what I want to do is I'm going to stop this share right quick, and we're going to go and we're going to read something right quick. Okay, so I'm going to go right here. And I have time to go everywhere. So I'm going to show you what Yahweh says. Okay. Chapter 12 says this: Yahweh spoke to Moshe and Aaron in the land of Mizraim, and he said, you are to begin your calendar with this month. It will be the first month of the year for you. The word that they use right here for calendar is month. It's called Kadash or Kadosh. Okay, not the Kwa. Okay, but the Ka. Okay, so that's a month. It'll be the first month of this month, will be the first month of the year to you. Okay, and I need you to speak to the assembly of Israel. Okay, and what they did is, and it's in English, but I want to show you even right here that the Holy One of Israel is telling you and I, let me see, that you and I are his witnesses. Here you go. Chapter number 12. Here you go. And you guys can still see my screen, right? All right, here you go. All right. Vayomer Yahweh de Ela Moshe and Ela Hadron the Ba'adres and Mizraim Lemor. Where did he say? Hakodosh, right here. Can you see my screen? Yes? Can you guys give me some feedback? Yes, can you see it? Somebody?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so that's what it is, Hakodesh, okay? Ha Kodesh, right there, okay? So it's going to be the beginning of the months for you. And this is your beginning, it's your Rosh. And it's a HaKodesh, Kadashim. It's going to be the first to you of this month, the La Kodeshe of the year. And he told him to speak, and that was a command to the congregation. Now, I want you to focus on this word right here. Congregation is not congregation. What do you see? You see an ayin, and you see a what? A dalet. So what does that mean? What did we learn? What is Ayin and Adala? What does this mean? According to what we've read,
Witness, see?
that's a witness. Thank you.
Witness.
It's a witness. So Israel is on, this is in Exodus chapter number 12. Yah says that they became his witnesses before they even came out of Mizraim. Why am I saying this? Because you and I have become Yahweh's witnesses before we left Mizraim or wherever we're in our exile. You're a witness. I told you we weren't serving him, and that got us a little discouraged, but now I'm telling you what you are and what you are doing right now. Edah, congregation, but it's not that. It's from Ya'ad, mean to appoint. There you go. To appoint what? See the point? You've been appointed. To what? To an appointment. An appointment is what? A moed, moedim. That's why you've been appointed. To be, Yah chose you to be a witness to him. That is a great honor. Do you understand? You're a Ya'ad, okay? That means to appoint. That's the verb of it. But to be a witness, that means you have been appointed to be a witness. Yah has called you. He has said to you, "Let gather to me." By him gathering us, and to make an appointment and to summon us and to meet with us and to designate for us and to agree to meet with us and to be able to be our Elohim, you and I become his witnesses. This is what we need to be. And I didn't say Jehovah Witness. Okay? One last point. Chapter number 11. Yahweh said to Moshe, I'm going to still bring one more plague on Pharaoh in Egypt, and after that, he will let you go. He'll let you leave here. When he does let you go or send you away, he'll throw you out completely. Now tell the people of that every man is to ask his neighbor and every woman her neighbor for gold and silver. So Yah goes on to tell Moshe all these different things, right? And then Pharaoh told him, he threatened him in chapter number 10, the last couple of verses, that he was going to kill Moshe if him and Aaron came into his face again. Okay. So you're here in chapter number 11, Yah's telling Moshe everything he's about to do. And then he tells Moshe to tell Pharaoh this. Moshe said, here's what Yahweh says. This is chapter number 11. Okay, to show you something very special. I told you I'm going to show you something special. This is chapter 11, verse number 4. Here's what Yahweh says. About midnight, I will go out into Egypt. That means that day that he was talking to him, that day. Okay. And all the firstborn in the land of Egypt will die. He told him that. The firstborn of Pharaoh sitting on his throne to the firstborn of the slave girl at the handmill, all the firstborn of livestock. They're all going to die. And there's going to be horrendous wailing. So he tells him this in chapter number 11, correct? Okay. Chapter number 12. Yahweh tells Israel this. The Torah is not chapter 11, chapter 12. Look what it says. Yahweh said to Moshe and Aaron in the land of Mizraim. He said, you are to begin your calendar, your month with this month, and it will be the first month of the year for you. It'll be the first month of the year for you. Speak to all the assembly, all the witnesses, the congregation. Okay, so that's why I don't go with these English words. That's Adoth, okay, of Israel, and say on the 10th day of this month, each man is to take. So he's letting him know this is going to be the first day of the first month. He's talking to him on the first day of Aviv, right here. He said, you are to begin your calendar this month, and it will be the first month of the year for you. Speak to the assembly of the congregation or the witnesses and say on the 10th day of this month, each man is to take a lamb or a kid and family, one per household. Okay. So you got the first day, and then he says on the 10th day. Has the 10th day already happened yet?
No.
No, because he's talking to him on the first day. Chapter number 11, verse number 4. What day was that? I'll read it again. Moshe told Pharaoh, Yahweh says tonight at midnight. What day was that? That was the 14th day.
14th day.
Thank you. So in chapter number 12, Yahweh tells us when he established the first day of the month. That's why he says that Yahweh spoke to Moshe and Aaron in the land of Mizraim. So when Moshe wrote this, he wrote this after he told us that he told Pharaoh at midnight, I'm going to kill, Yah's coming out to kill everybody, which was the 14th day. So Moshe had wrote everything that he already said on the 14th day. I mean, everything that he was told on the first day. He tells Israel everything in chapter number 12 before chapter number 11. I'll try to make more sense of this without reading too much. Chapter number 11, Yah tells Moshe, go tell Pharaoh that I'm killing the firstborn tonight. Okay, that's in chapter number 11. Prior to chapter number 11, Yah never mentions anything to us about when Aviv is and all that. He never says anything about that. Chapter number 12, that's when Yah tells us through Moshe when the first day of the month is and what they're supposed to do on the 10th month. So Moshe in chapter number 12 is writing what Yah had already told him. So question is, did Israel know that Yahweh was coming to kill everybody at midnight?
Yes.
Yes, because Moshe had already told everybody. So from verses, and you can read this today for yourself, from chapter number 12, verse number 1, all the way to verse number 29, he's given them instructions on what to do. But if in chapter number 11, he just told Pharaoh that Yah's coming to kill everybody tonight at midnight. So Israel doesn't have time to go over through all these instructions. These are instructions, chapter number 12, all the way down to verse 29. 7 days you're to eat matzah, all that. This was already told to them. That's why it says in verse number 1 that Moshe and Aaron, Yahweh spoke to them in the land of Mizraim, and he said. So they're telling us what Yah said prior to chapter number 11. So you can see that the Torah is not written in a consecutive order. Sometimes Yah doesn't reveal things to us in certain times. Like he didn't tell us that he said this first and then Moshe went to Pharaoh. He hid it from us to show it to us right now in chapter number 12. Why is he telling it to us in chapter number 12? He's telling it to us in chapter number 12 because he wants us to focus our attention on it. Meaning that Yah has chosen to let Israel know that I have separated you for myself. Okay. Did the children of Israel read this? Did they read chapter number 12? Did the children of Israel read Shemot chapter number 12?
No.
Why are you guys afraid to answer that?
They heard it.
They heard it, but I'm asking the question. Did they read chapter number 12?
No.
No. So who was chapter number 12 written for?
Us.
It's for us. It's for the generations to come. Yah is using Moshe to write this because the children of Israel knew all this. He's just telling us what Moshe said to them prior to him telling Pharaoh that tonight at midnight, I'm killing all the firstborn of male and all your sons from you all the way down and even to the animals. So everything that's written right here, you guys, is for us. It's to let us know that Yah says then I'm going to show you how special you are. I'm going to tell you when to begin this in particular Moedim. This is my first appointed time. Like I'm having you participate in it right now. This is the beginning of the Moedim for you. This is the beginning of it for you because prior to Yah mentioning this, he never called Israel his congregation. He called them the sons of Israel. Go to the sons of Israel. Go to the sons of Israel. Go to the sons of Israel. He made them witnesses to the Pesach by killing the firstborn. And therefore, he wanted us, the people that are coming after them, to read this and to know that you are set apart. And Yah's Moedim is the primary, is the number one thing that you should have your focus on. Because that's how you become his witnesses. If you and I testified to this, because it asked a question, they said, well, my son asked me, what does this mean? You're supposed to tell him Yahweh did this for me. Okay. So let's start in 29 right quick. So he gave him all those instructions and Yah did kill right? So look, 28 says, then the people of Israel went and they did as Yahweh had ordered Moshe and Aharon. This is prior to chapter number 11, where he told Pharaoh, Yah's coming at midnight to kill you. Kill the firstborn. That is what they did at midnight. Yahweh killed the firstborn in the land of Egypt. From the firstborn of Pharaoh sitting on the throne to the firstborn and the prisoner in the dungeon and the firstborn of the livestock. That word firstborn is bakar. Pharaoh got up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a horrendous wailing, and there was not a single house that was not someone in who was dead. There was someone dead in every single house. So then he kicks him out, okay? He sends him out of there, and it talks about how they traveled. Chapter number 13 says this. Yahweh said to Moshe, set aside for me all the firstborn, all the bakar. Whatever is first from the womb among the people of Israel, both of humans and animals, belong to me. So next time you talk to your Christian friends, ask them, well, if Christ was the firstborn, who's the firstborn animal? And they'll say it was him. Moshe said to the people, because Yah did humans and animals. He didn't just deliver the humans, he did the animals too. So the firstborn, the animals were redeemed as well. That's why Yah is always looking for a contribution to remind him of what he did for Israel. That's why he looks for offerings, because our Elohim is an Elohim of offerings. That's why Moshe kept telling Pharaoh, send us out of here so we could go worship him. And he said, well, you can't bring your animals. No, we don't know what we're going to use. We're going to make sacrifices. Our Elohim is the Elohim of sacrifice. Okay. So Moshe said to the people in verse 3, remember this day. What day? Remember this day, okay, on which you left Mitzrayim, the abode of slavery. Okay. There he's speaking of the day that they left, which is on the day of Matzah. Okay. Matzah, not Pesach, Matzah. The one that I showed you, Matzah. Okay. And that means to find. Remember this day, on the day that you left Egypt. You didn't leave Egypt on Pesach. Pesach is the death. Okay. Pesach is when he killed the firstborn. Matzah is the day that they left in a hurry. Okay. The day that you left out of the abode of slavery, because Yahweh, by the strength of his hand, has brought you out of this place. Do not eat chametz, okay, which is a leavening agent. You are leaving today on Matzah in the month of Aviv. Okay. When Yahweh brings you into the land of the Ka'anani and the Kiti and the Imri, the Kavusi, okay, the Kiwi and the Yuvusi, which he swore to your ancestors to give to you, a land flowing with milk and honey, you are to observe this ceremony this month. So they didn't keep this while they were in the wilderness. He's telling them when you get to the land, you're supposed to keep it. So people for us would ask, well, this is why people don't keep it. They don't keep it while they're in exile because they're like, oh, we don't have to keep it. But no, Yah told us to remember it. You have to remember these days, okay? You have to, for 7 days, you eat matzah. You could do that. For 7 days, it's a day of festival to Yahweh, okay? The 7th day is going to be a festival to Yahweh on the 7th day of that in particular festival. Festival means to feast, to eat and celebrate, okay? On Pesach, people say, well, we don't have to keep it because we're not in the land. That's their excuse, okay? Yah says that you and I are supposed to remember the Pesach, okay, to memorialize it, okay? And you're doing that by what? You can eat some lamb. Yes, you can. You can roast it with fire. Are you doing a sacrifice of a whole lamb? No, you're not. Can you stay in your house? Yes, you can. It's a memorial. Can you, can you eat it quickly and have bitter herbs with it? Yes, you can. It's to memorialize the day that Yah brought us out. He says it's something that you should remember forever. And the only way you can remember that is because it's a Moedim. That's why you remember it, because you were a witness to it. So as long as you're a witness to it, it's an appointed time. When you show up to that appointment, okay, you show up to that appointment, Yah says, now you're my witnesses, because you're showing up to that appointment time, because you're remembering what I did. Because Yahweh is always going to remember the Pesach. He's never going to forget it. Okay. So he goes through all the different times in which we should do. You got to keep matzah. You have to keep matzah. And that's something we're going to go over later when it comes about. We're going to spend a little bit more time with that. Okay. In closing, I have a few more moments here. I want to share with you what Yahweh tells Israel not to be. Okay. Yah's always talking about how his people are always afraid and how our enemies are always trying to destroy us. Okay. Yah wants us to remember these times, because it's during these moments of the Moedim that you and I get close to Yah, and he can share with us what his intentions are. Okay. Yahweh's intention is to bring the children of Israel out of Mitzrayim, to bring us out of all the places we've been and all the places of exile. But he says this, yet don't be afraid, Yaakov, my servant. Don't be distressed, Israel, for I will save you. Okay. I'm going to save you. I will deliver you from all the faraway places, and you and your offspring from the lands where they are being held captive. You think that you're not being held captive? You are, because you're in a land that doesn't belong to you, and you're being ruled by other people. Yaakov will return and be at peace and quiet, with no one to make him afraid. Remember, I told you about salvation and safety, food security. So Yah saying you'll be at peace and you'll be quiet, and no one will make him afraid, because there's enemies that he's had. He says, don't be afraid, Yaakov, my servant, says Yahweh, for I am with you. I will finish off all the nations where I have scattered you. He plans on destroying all of the nations that he has scattered us to. However, I will not finish. However, I will not finish off. He will kill 2/3 of Israel will die. Okay. Not all of us are going to die. All of us who decided to follow what Yahweh says, and he decided for us to be living, you will live. Those who have not done what Yah says, then you're going to die. I will discipline you as you deserve. I'm never going to go beyond what you deserve, but not completely destroy you. I will destroy some of you. So your family, the family members and stuff, and people that you know that don't want to do what he says, that are Israel family and friends, he's going to destroy them, but not completely. He's not going to completely destroy the whole nation. Okay. So I wanted to bring that point out. And then also too, I want to share with you, a lot of people have a question about, well, what is it going to be like? Because everyone wants to know, is it going to be like what happened in Egypt? Because that's what people have been told. I believe, and from my studies, that it's going to be a time in the spring. Everything that shows me and points to it's going to be a time in spring. That's when it's going to be, because that's what Yah does. Okay. Here's what he says. Verse number 14 in chapter 16 in Jeremiah, it says this, therefore says Yahweh, the day will come when people will no longer swear. Okay. As Yahweh lives, who brought out the people of Israel out from the land of Egypt. No one's going to say that anymore. Remember, he's been telling everybody to say Yahweh brought us out, right? He's saying there's coming another day. There's a day. When this other day comes, they're not going to say that, but they're going to say as Yahweh lives. So Yahweh lives never changes. Yahweh lives, who brought the people of Israel out of the land of the north and out of all the countries where he drove them. I will bring, remember, we talked about I will, our 6 I wills last Shabbat. Here are 7, excuse me. I will bring them back to their own land. which I gave to their ancestors. That's a promise. That's number one. Then he says, look, says Yahweh, I will send for many fishermen, and they will fish for them. Afterwards, I will send for many hunters, and they will hunt them for every mountain and every hill and out of all the caves and the rocks. Question is this: where? Why people think that this is talking about the ministry? It's not talking about ministry. Yeah, it's talking about destroying. He's destroying the people. When he talks about fishing for them, men are going to fish for them, and hunters are going to hunt them. And every mountain and hill out of the caves and the rocks. Why are you in the caves and the rocks? Because that's where Israel's been hiding. Yah is going to execute judgment against his people who have committed crimes against him. And we don't like it. For I see all their ways. They are not hidden from me. Their crimes are not concealed from my eyes. So when people, Christians and Christians try to read about fishermen and hunters, and you thought that was a nice thing, like they're the disciples to come and get you, he's going to come and get you himself. These other people he's sending out is to hunt and to kill and to destroy. For I see all their ways, and they are not hidden from me in 17. Their crimes are not concealed from my eyes. First, what I'm going to do is I will pay them back double for their crimes and sins. So if he's paying us back for their double, for their crimes and their sins, then no one else can. Remember, he says, no one can deliver from out of my hand, because they have what? They have defiled the land, which is mine. The land belongs to Yahweh. And they filled my heritage with corpses of horrors and abominations. See? So Yah is telling us that he's going to destroy these people for what they've done. He's going to pay them double. Okay. That's why they're scattered. Okay. Yahweh, my strength. Okay. My fortress, my refuge in time of trouble. The nations will come to you from the ends of the earth, saying, our ancestors, this is what the nations are going to say. Our ancestors inherited nothing but lies, futile idols, completely useless. So the gods of the nations are the New Testament and, all the other gods. Because they're not declaring that Yahweh is Yahweh. They're declaring that we've inherited nothing but lies and futile idols, completely useless, because Christ has never done anything for anybody except for allow these people to kill us. Can a person make himself a god? In fact, there aren't no gods at all. Therefore, I will make them know once and for all, I will make them know my power, my might. Then they will know that my name is Yahweh. The nations don't know his name because Yah makes himself known by delivering the children of Israel. And it's not until the nations come to Yahweh, they're going to come to Yahweh, my strength, by his hand. He's my fortress. He's a place of safekeeping and my refuge. If you make Yahweh your refuge in a time of trouble, he'll save you. Okay. I want to just give you one more little thing before you leave to let you know that he says on that day. Therefore, in 14, therefore, thus says Yahweh, the day will come. Okay, so what day is this? The day that he's talking about is this day in Jeremiah chapter number 30. The word of Yahweh, the word came to Yirmiyahu from Yahweh. This is what Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel, says. Have you guys noticed it's always what Yahweh says? Write all the words I have spoken to you in a scroll. For the day is coming, says Yahweh, when I will reverse the exile of my people. So that's going to happen on a day. There's coming a day when I'm going to reverse the exile of my people, and my people are Israel and Yehuda. This has not happened yet, says Yahweh. I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their ancestors. Focus is the land, like he's been saying, that I gave to their ancestors. And they will take possession of it. Of what? Of the land. All Israel and all Yehuda together on this day. Not a 7-year period, not a days, 1,000 years and all that Christian stuff. No, it's going to be a day. Just like Israel left out of Mizraim on a day. You're going to go on a day. Okay. And this is what he's saying, I will do. These are the words Yahweh spoke concerning Israel and Yehuda, both of them together, which is the entire house of Israel. Here is what Yahweh says. We have heard a cry. The cry that they're hearing is similar to the cry that Mizraim had heard. A cry from losing their firstborn, but Yah says that he killed the firstborn. He's never going to do that again. That's a one-time deal. That's why Pesach is locked in. He'll never do that again. Okay. Well, what they're going to hear is this cry, and it will be a physical cry. This is not a spiritual cry. This is a physical cry of terror and of fear, and not of peace. There's not going to be happy and joy. And we saw the cloud and someone coming out of the clouds of the heaven. Ask now and see with your eyes. Okay. And ask now with your mouth, and hear the cry with your ears. Why then do I see with my eyes all the men physical with their hands on their stomachs like a woman in labor, with every face physically turned pale? Why do I see that? Turning greenish. Why? Like they're about to vomit. Because they're seeing something that they've never, remember, we've inherited lies. How dreadful that day will be. It's a day. The day that Yah says that don't be afraid, Israel. Because this day, there has never been one like it. A time on this day of trouble for Yaakov, not a 7-year revelation period and 3.5 and another 3.5. No, this is a day. Just like he took us out of Mizraim in a day, the day that you left, this is the day that I'm going to bring the time of trouble for Yaakov. Okay? A time of trouble. But out of it, out of this day, out of this particular day, he will be saved. Out of it, the what? The day. He will be saved. He will be delivered. You're going to be delivered, which is Yasha. You're going to be delivered on that day. On that day, says Yahweh Zava'oth. Oh, so first he says Yahweh spoke, Yahweh said. Now he says Yahweh Zava'oth. Yahweh Zava'oth. Zava'oth here, folks, means armies. When Yah uses this name, he's saying that he's coming with his armies on this day. Because on this day, he's going to do something different. Again, Yahweh says, I will, which is Eye, Asher Eye, I will break his yoke from off your neck. Because you've been a captive. I will snap your chains. So if I will snap your chains and I will break his yoke off your neck, that means that you and I are captives. That means that you and I are slaves. That means that we're servants to tyrants and other people, which are the nations. So how in the world can you say that you're blessed, and you can say that you're serving Yah, and you can say that you have his spirit, but yet you have a chain on your neck or a yoke, and you got chains and shackles on your feet and your wrists. How could you say that? Because you don't understand your situation. Foreigners will no longer enslave him. Who? Yaakov. So when Yah speaks of Yehuda and Israel, and he talks about them, they're Jacob's children. And he says him, individual, meaning a person. When he looks at the nation of Israel, he's third person and masculine singular. Just like he decided to destroy Pharaoh, he destroyed not only Pharaoh, but everybody Pharaoh was representing, which is Egypt. He destroyed Mitzrayim. Instead, so after I break this yoke off your neck and I snap your chains, foreigners will no longer. Who's the foreigner? The foreigner is the one, is his yoke. That's who got you yoked, is the foreigners. Will no longer enslave Yaakov. Instead, they, who, that third person masculine singular of Yaakov and his children, will serve Yahweh, their Elohim. You see how he said him, and then he went to they? He interchangeably uses a third person masculine singular as Yaakov, and then Israel, which is Yehuda and Israel, as they. They will serve Yahweh, their Elohim, and David, their king. Instead of serving who? So, if they will serve, are they serving Yahweh right now? According to what we're reading. No, they're not. We're not serving Yahweh. It's okay to know that you're a slave. It's if you don't recognize your slavery, your captivity, then you won't understand what Yahweh's intentions are for you as a slave, is to deliver you from bondage. And that's why he chose to tell us the story about Mitzrayim, to give you a clue what I'm going to do and how is it going to be happening. It's going to be with a strong hand. But it's going to be different this time, because I'm not getting you from one location. I'm getting you from all locations. So what am I going to do? Send 10 plagues to all locations at the same time? No, that's why I said it won't be like that. It'll never, everything that happened in Mitzrayim will never happen again. This is going to be spectacular. This is going to be new. Because on this day, because it's only happening, they're not going to get a couple of days and going back and forth and send my people out and all this kind of stuff. What they're going to get is they're going to get faces turned pale with their hands on their stomach because of what they're going to see. Because that in particular day will be a dreadful day. Okay. But after they're delivered and everything is broken off their necks and their chains are snapped, after Yahweh snaps them, foreigners will no longer enslave him. Once that happens, then you and I will serve Yahweh, our Elohim, and David, their king, whom I will raise up for them. Future tense. So when you say that Yeshua is the son of David and he's the one who went to Jerusalem riding on a donkey and he's your Elohim and he's one of David's descendants, it's not true. And if he was, Yah didn't raise him up for us because we're still enslaved. You can't have it both ways. Either it's going to be this way or it's going to be the New Testament. So this is the reason why Yah tells his children that are online today in Zoom, don't be afraid, Yaakov, my servant. Because you will serve me, but you'll serve me after I'll break his yoke off your neck and after I snap your chains. Foreigners will be gone because I told you in 46 that I'm going to make an end of all the nations, but I will not completely destroy you, but I'll only discipline you as you deserve. So I'm going to raise up David for them. Am I going to raise him from the dead like the Christian said? No. David is among you right now. David is among the children of Israel. So don't be afraid, Yaakov, my servant. David will not be revealed until Yahweh breaks the yoke off our neck and snaps the chains. That's when he's going to reveal to us who David is. Don't be afraid. So says Yahweh, or be alarmed. I don't need you to be afraid. I don't need you to be alarmed at what? At that day. For Israel, for I will return you. I'm not going to destroy all of you from far away and your offspring from their country of exile. Don't be afraid. Don't be alarmed, Israel. Your offspring is the people that are on Zoom. I'm going to get them from all the country of exile. Yaakov will again be quiet. Number one, he will be at rest. Number two, and number three, no one makes him afraid. As we can see again, that is salvation. Salvation for us is being quiet and at rest, and none one's making us being afraid and bringing us back home. And how do we know it's salvation? Prove it. Next verse is proving it. For I am with you to what? To save you. I'm here to deliver you, says Yahweh. I will finish off every last one of the nations where I have scattered you. However, you, I will not finish off. We saw this in Jeremiah 46, and now we're seeing it again. But I will discipline you what? Only as, if I'm going to tear your behind up, I'm going to do it as you deserve. I will not completely, which should alarm some of us, destroy you. For here is what Yahweh says. Your wound is past healing. Your injury, most severe. No one thinks your wound can be bandaged, meaning no one's trying to help you like I told you earlier. No one's trying to help us. You have no medicines that can heal you. So the New Testament and your new way of salvation is the medicine that you were looking to heal you. It hasn't healed you. You're still sick and you're still in exile. You still got chains on your arms and your feet and shackles, and you still got a yoke on your neck. So next time someone tells you that they're saved, you bring them over here to Jeremiah 30 and show them that they're not, because they're not. And ask them to explain this to you. Oh, all your friends have forgotten you. They no longer seek you out. I have struck you down as an enemy would. Yah's talking to us. I'm the one who struck you. I should have struck you down. I've done stuff to you that an enemy would have done to you. So, when they hung you, I was the one who was doing that. I punished you as a cruel man would. I used those people. I used the cruel man. I am the one who became your enemy. Why? Because of your great wickedness, because of your many sins. So don't act like we're innocent. Don't act like that. Why cry about your wound? Why? Why are you whining about your wound? Why are you crying? That your wound and your pain are past healing. I have done these things to you. Yes, Yahweh has done these things to us because of your great wickedness and because of your many sins. That's why I'm making you pay for it right now. You're going to pay what you owe. But all who devour you will be devoured, and all your enemies will go into exile. Those who plunder you will be plundered, and those who pillage you will be pillaged. For I will restore your health. I will heal you. Again, I will restore your health. I will heal you of your wounds, says Yahweh, because they called you an outcast, Zion, with no one who cares about her. Thus, says Yahweh, I will, another I will, praise be to the Holy One, return Yaakov's captives. So again, he reminds us again that we are captives to their tents. Again, I'm going to shuv you. That's return. Shuv. Mean you're a captive, and I'm going to take you back, and I will take pity on his dwellings. Cities will be rebuilt on their own tails, meaning places where they're supposed to. Palaces where they're supposed to be. Okay? And from them will come thanksgiving and the sound of the people celebrating. So that's going to happen on what they would call a Moedim, because that's when people do Yah's Moedim, which is the festivals. And that's when we celebrate. Celebrating means cerebral. meaning you're going to use your mind because you're going to be happy and going to be joyous because everything that Yah has done for you. I will increase them. Yah is the one who does everything for us. They will not be decreased. How are you going to increase us? Through your womb, through your animals, through your babies. I will honor them. So you're not honored right now? No, they're not. They will not be despised. When? Any longer. Their children will be as they used to be. How are the children? Obedient, loving, honoring, laughing, joking, having a great time in the streets, not worrying about how they're going to make it in this world when you die. Confirm their community in my presence. Oh, really? I thought we lived in his presence. Nah, no, you don't. I'm giving you something to look forward to. I'm going to confirm your community. And I will, again, punish everyone who oppresses them. Oh, let me show you where their leader's coming from. Their leader, which is Dawid, will be one of their own. Really? And where did they come from? They came out of exile. Dawid is coming out with them from exile. Their ruler will come from among them. But I thought they were scattered to the four corners of the earth. Where's he at? He's sitting on the throne somewhere? No, he's among them right now. Dawid is among you. I will cause him to come close and let him approach me. For otherwise, who would guarantee his heart enough to approach me? This is a question Yah has asked a question. Who has guaranteed his heart to approach me? Meaning, who is the person who is Dawid is the one who has given his mind to Yahweh. He has to guarantee, like you would in terms of that word right there. Guarantee means to mortgage. He has to mortgage his mind. That's who Dawid is. Dawid is the person who's giving Yah his mind in every part of his life and said, I'm yours. I don't have a life except for you. That's why he's asking this question, because he says, how can this person approach me? How could this person approach me if they don't have the mindset? They got to mortgage. Who would mortgage his heart, his mind enough to approach me? So Yahweh is going to cause this man to come to him and come close and let him approach me. For otherwise, how could he mortgage himself? Yah says, I got to be the one. He will be, you will be, you will be, you. The ones who I've gathered will be my people and I'll be your Elohim. So when you say this phrase that we're his people, understand that right now, yes, you are his people, but from his perspective, as we are right now, we're other people's people right now because we're in other people's lands. He only uses this phrase, you will be my people, is when you're back home with him. And he says, I will be your Elohim. That means that right now, you and I are in what they call harmony. We're together. And there's no separation between us. There's no one telling you got to be at work on this time. There's no one forcing you to do anything. Me and you are together. So look. So now here's the second look. Look. The storm of Yahweh is bursting out in fury. Sweeping storm whirling down on the heads of the wicked. That's what I need you to look for, because that's what's coming. Yahweh's fierce anger will not abate until he accomplishes the purpose in his heart, in his mind, in the Akorith Hamayim, in days, or the last days, or the days after, or the final days. You will understand, and I do understand. And that's why he's having us learn this, because you should know and understand that Yahweh is going to burst out in a storm on the heads of the wicked. So when he says, why are these people holding their stomachs and they're turning green? He just told you why. Look, I see with every man with his hands on his stomach. Look. And then at the end of the teaching, look, I see a storm whirling down on the heads of, because it's a storm. This day that Yah's coming is going to be a dark day, and it's going to be a stormy day, and it'll be a day that no one can do anything about it. And at that time, they're going to recognize and they're going to understand that we've inherited nothing but lies. But at that moment, it's going to be too late. Even for Israel, it's going to be too late. If you and I decide that we don't want to continue to do what he's telling us to do, then it's going to be too late for us. You're going to get delivered. He's going to take you out. He said, I'm going to take you out of the lands of your enemies. I'm going to do that. So in comparison to what the children of Israel went through in Egypt, all it is a prototype to show us what Yah is going to do. He's using that as an example. Marie said, I'm not going to completely destroy you. Yah had asked them to get rid of their idols before they left, and they wouldn't do it. So now he's asking us, you guys want to listen to Moshe? Get rid of your idols. And then come follow me. Do what I tell you to do. Show up at your appointed times. Show up for Pesach. I'm not asking you to go get a full lamb and kill it and slay in the whole house of Israel. I'm telling you to memorialize it. You can't do it because you're not in the land. No, God told us through Moshe, you're going to do everything I told you to do. A matter of fact, the only reason why you are keeping the Moedim because you are a witness. You're a witness to that. You're witnessing like I'm getting testimony that Yah is promising to come get me like he did my ancestors. That's the only reason I'm doing it. Because you're supposed to tell your child, you're supposed to tell your son the reason why Yah has done these things. And if you don't tell your children, that means that I got to share this and then I'll stop. I don't even need to look at anything else. My beautiful, wonderful wife, Rivka, we were talking. She goes, you know what? Guess what the Most High told me? It's like, what? She said, I know why it's the reason why he gave us the calendar. I was like, well, why? She said, because Yah's letting us know once you're on this calendar, you're going to be different. The Moedims shape your behavior. You and I are on a different calendar than everybody else. I mean, she could probably tell it better than I can. Rivka, are you there? She could tell it better than I can.
Yeah. What I was thinking was when Yah was bringing us out this morning when we were reading that, I said he brought us out with a strong hand. And he immediately goes in to talk about the first month of the first year. This will be your new year, your calendar. And I thought, when we're in captivity, we're under our oppressor's calendar. So the first thing Yah does is establish our holy days, our set apart days as a set apart people, because we're coming out of captivity. And so that's huge because he rolled, and it has to do with him bringing us out with a strong hand, and that's, and when we read the Torah, it's when we're supposed to immediately, he emphasizes us telling our children and our children's children for generations to come. And it's like everyone on this phone right now, we're going to be telling our children and our children's children from here on out. There will never be any more of the holidays of our oppressors in any of our houses. So it's kind of like when we start to keep and follow the ways of Yah, you become who you're really supposed to be. That's in line with the seasons and the Moedims and the sun, the moon, and the stars. It just blew me away.
Praise the Holy One of Israel. I took from that, I understand, like what I got from what she told me is like, if you're not on this calendar, you're going to miss how, because this is a path, like the chart that I showed you, it's a cycle, and we go from location to location to location. It's like a guidance system. It's like Yah's using the Moedims to guide us to him, to show us how to change. And what is he looking for? To remind us of who he is. So if we ignore the calendar, yes, Anzanya.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, all praises to the Most High. I just wanted to confirm what you're saying. When years ago, when my husband and I were awakened, we were with a group of elders who decided that we weren't supposed to keep Shabbat, and here in captivity, and we ended up breaking off from that because the Most High put it so strong in my spirit that was just the beginning of a timing that we would need in order to make it out of the lands. Basically, what Akote Yahuda was just saying. But at the same time, the Most High has shown me something, literally like Jeremiah 33:3, where he says that, abide with me and I will show you secrets. And he has given me some information that literally has rocked my world. I even stopped posting on Facebook for a couple of weeks. I haven't been present in your Shabbat class. I haven't been doing anything except praying and studying and trying to figure out how to put it in words to tell somebody.
Yeah, because it's a secret. Yes.
Yeah, what he's let me know. And we really have to humble ourselves, because the wicked, it's like Torah's like this. It's like it was given to us freely the first time. It was given to us freely. And because of our sin, these books have been given back to us with many, many additions. And it's just not the New Testament.
Yeah.
And as Torah begins to fall on our hearts, everyone's going to see it more clearly, just like everyone is going to see who we are, because we can't be removed from our story. We can't be removed from being the people that are scattered to the four corners of the world for not keeping the instruction of Torah. And everyone's going to see that soon. It's so much witchcraft going on. Truly it is. And it's really blinded the masses. We really just can't see. It's just like the people that are still caught up in that covenant, the covenant of the New Testament of drinking blood and all that other, even when they come to be into the truth of their heritage, most of us still can't give it up. I mean, it's just really, really, really bad. And as you were reading, I mean, it's like, there is no cure. What is the cure,
Yes.
Yeah, it truly is. And so just remember to just walk as humbly as possible, because it's just so many lies that have been told, but hopefully so much of that will be cleared up. Anyway, all praises to the Most High, and thank you for this class and allowing me a moment to speak. Shalom.
Oh, praise the Holy One.
Yes.
Indeed. I was just blown away by what my wife was saying, and praise you for that contribution, because you're absolutely right. It's just like, if you don't, this calendar, like Yah gave us a calendar, like saying, this is special. This is you. This is nobody else. This is just you. I love you so much. I want to put you on a different path. I want you to come and meet with me when everybody else is doing their thing, when they're celebrating the new year. You're sitting back and looking at them going, wait a minute, what you doing? We're waiting for Yahweh's time. We're walking in his moments. And so when he's having us on here and we're following the Shabbat, and we're going from Shabbat to Shabbat, we're going from Moedim to Moedim, we're doing everything that he's asking us to do. And by going to these appointments, we get more familiar with Yahweh. We're going to the tent of meeting with Yahweh. He begins to tell us about what these words mean. He gets to tell us what his witnesses are. He does let us know the truth, that you guys have done wickedness and crimes and sins against me. And yes, your ancestors did that, but you too. And you're like, well, no, I didn't. Yes, you did. So if you acknowledge that you are my witnesses, I know you're my servant. I have intention for you. But don't try to tell me that you're serving me in the manner that you think that you're serving me. You have to understand that what I've done to you, I've done this to you, and I brought this upon you so you can humble yourselves. That's what he says in Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse number, I think is 6 or 10, where he says, if you humble yourselves before me. Okay. So I praise Yah for you guys today. I thank him that he was able to show us what it really truly means to both, to enter in to his meeting place, and he's showing us what happened in Mitzrayim, so he can talk to us and show us, like, hey, I'm just giving you a clue about me introducing myself. I told you what my name was in the book of Shemot. I told you how I harden people's hearts, and not just for Pharaoh, but everybody else, so I can accomplish what I want. I did everything to him so I could bring about the Pesach, because everything I do is for the benefit of Israel. And it's for the benefit of you guys so you can know who I am. So I need you to glorify me. I confess to you guys today that I'm guilty. I don't spend the time that I should. I felt bad about it. And that's on an individual basis. So whatever, if ask Yah, are we as close as we could be? Because that's what he wants you to get close to him. He wants you to be close. He wants to be close to us. That's what he wants to be. He wants to be real close to us. He wants us to come to him and not just wait for the Moedims to come. He wants us to come to him on a regular basis, and he wants to have what they would call a relationship with us. And even though we're not in service right now, doesn't mean that he doesn't love us. Now, I've never said that. I've never said that he doesn't love us. I never said that he doesn't show mercy. I never said he's not compassionate. I never said that he doesn't full of grace and truth. I've never said that. And what I am saying is what he said. He said that you have a yoke on your neck and you can't serve me when you're serving someone else. You got chains that I need to pop off your ankles and your hands so you can stand up straight and you can walk straight before me. I'm an Elohim of sacrifice. And I showed you that I'm only bringing you out for one thing, and that's to worship me. So, Bo, go in shalom today. Okay. And I'll see you guys a little bit later. Any contributions? I have my Hebrew class. It's an awesome class. We're doing some slides that I put together called the Hebraic Roots. And we're keeping it simple. And we're just going on some Hebrew words. If you'd like to, attend to that, that'll be available today about 4:00 Pacific Standard Time. Anyone, any other contributions or additions or like to say anything before we close?
Can you briefly explain about Tzitzit?
Oh, okay, wonderful. You're going to find Tzitzit in chapter number 15 of the book of Numbers. Okay, and it's going to be in verse number 38. All right, and what a Tzitzit is let me see, where did I do with my pen? That's an excellent question. Thank you for that. Put it right here. Let me show you right here. There you go, number 15. 15. All right, 1538. All right, so a lot of people ask, well, why should we wear the tzitzit? Okay. Previously to this, the command or the Kok of Yahweh speaking to the children of Israel, somebody was put to death. Okay. And they were put to death because of something that they did. And what they did was, I believe it had something to do with, he was gathering sticks on Shabbat. Oh, look at that. Verse number 32 says, while the sons of Israel in the wilderness, I'm reading from right to left, they found, by Yemsa'u, meaning like matzah, they found a man gathering. Okay, they found some man, it was a ish, he was gathering sticks on the day of the Shabbat. Okay, and they brought him to him whom they found, to Moshe, who was gathering sticks, and they brought him to Moshe and Aharon and to all the congregation. Okay, so the witnesses, that's what the congregation is, the Eidat, the Ha-Eidat, and the witnesses. And they put him under guard because they didn't know, what to do with him. See, they want to know what needed to be explained. Okay. 35 says, and said Yahweh. So when they brought him to Aaron and Moshe and the congregation, they said, what should we do with him? He said, put him in guard him right now. Put him in under guard for a minute and let me go to Yah and find out. So Moshe leaves them and he went to the tent of meeting. They don't tell us that here, but that's where Moshe would meet with Yah. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Moth Yamoth, meaning he must be put to death. The man, and he needs to be stoned, and all the congregation outside the camp, we need to kill him. Okay. So they brought all the congregation outside the camp and they stoned him with stones and he died as Yahweh commanded Eth Moshe. Okay. So you say, well, what does that have to do with the tzitzit? Here is what it has to do with the tzitzit. And again, after they killed this man, Yahweh spoke again, Yahweh to Moshe saying, and here it is, an imperative. This is a command. That's why it's in a PL form, meaning forcefully. Remember, I told you the PL means forceful, and it's an imperative, meaning forceful, not suggestive. I'm going to forcefully, with intensity, tell you this. To the sons of Israel, okay? And Marta, you tell them, the Elatham, to they shall do, not only make, but they shall do. Asu means do, okay? Not just make them. You got to do them. To themselves, the tzitzit, on the corners of their garments, okay? There's a reason for it, okay? Before I get into what the tzitzit is, I'm going to tell you the reason why he wants us to do it. He says, you tell them to do this throughout all their generations, the Ladoratham, and they shall put these tassels on the corners of and with a thread of blue. And have you the tassel, okay? And you shall exist unto you, because I'm interpreting as I'm reading, and it shall exist or be to you. That's the lakim, the shepherd's staff, to, like a shepherd's staff, to them, to you, kem, plural. The lazitzi, the tassels, they call it tassel, but it's a zitzi, that you may look upon. Okay, so the primary purpose of the zitzi is to udra ithim, so they can look at them with their eyes, okay? Otho, to look at it, the zitzi, okay? And not only to look at it, but I want them and remember, uzakartam, okay? So they can remember. I need them to look at it and I need them to remember all the commandments of Yahweh. I need you to remember it and I need you to look at it and I need you to remember. So the first reason is to look. I need you to look. I need you to remember. Oh, I'm spelling it wrong. Remember, and I need you to all what? Ethol, call all the commandments of Yahweh. Okay. The commandments. Okay. And I need you to do them. And not do you follow after your heart and your own eyes. Because what you see is what you're going to do. So he's telling you, I need you to remember, I need you to look at them, and I need you to remember. So that's the purpose of them, to remember, to look, and to do the commandments, all the commandments of Yahweh. Why? Because he's saying people sometimes forget, right? They forget. They forget. And so Yah wanted to give them something to remember. And what did he say? He said, I want them to have the tzitzit. Okay. So the tzitzit has a couple of different meanings. It's a tassel, it's a lock of thread, and you're supposed to have the blue in it. But where does it come from? This word comes from this, I don't have it right here. I don't see it. Oh, zitz. Yeah, it is. Here it is. It comes from this word of a lock, and it's the feminine of it is called a zitz. Okay. And it's a floral wing-like projection. Okay. Like floral. And it comes from the idea of a blossom of a plant, like an almond blossom. Okay. And it means a flowering, like to flower out like wings. Okay. So if you notice when you walk with these things, they're kind of like wings because they're on all four corners. The four corners of your garment have to do what they call the corners are called a kanaf, and a kanaf has to do with wings. Do you guys remember what Yahweh put on the Ark of the Covenant? He had kavarim. Kavurim? How do you spell that? Okay. Ruvim. He had kavarim with wings, gold wings that were spread. And they were there to guard the covenant. Okay. So when you and I put on these tzitzits, we're supposed to look and they're like wings for us. They're wings on the corners of our garments. So everywhere we look, it's like we're guarded. Okay. But I only want you not only to look at, I need you to remember and do my commandments. So it's just a reminder. Okay. But also too, it has the expression of wings, and you use wings to guard. And so what is wings? What do wings do? Wings are used for flying, but also too, wings are used to guard when birds guard their chicks or the little things they put their wings around. Like Yah says, I guarded Israel. I put them on my wing. I flew them out of Mizraim on wings of an eagle. Okay. So the zitz had to do with that. Okay. There you go. Perhaps wings. It's a blossom. It's a flower. So when you look at it too, it's something shining, right? So when you look at it and it's like a blossoming flower, it also reminds you of something. It should ask you, are you remembering the commandments? Because when you remember them, you blossom. Your life, it's indicative of your life. You know, you're flowering, you're going through your season. It's always something beautiful to look at. It has this idea of something shiny, right? To draw your attention. So Yah is saying, listen, I just need you to do this so you can have something to number one, keep your eyes from going a whoring after other gods and things that you see. Because Israel has a bad habit of using their eyes to look at things, to look at other gods, to look at the way other people do things. And if you have these tzitzits that you put on, like I have it on mine right now, I wear them every day, even if I'm at home. See, I wear them every day because I look upon them and I think about his commandments and I remember them and I do them. Okay. And so that's what the tzitzit's for. So it's an almond blossom. It has that color, that color blue in it that he requires for it to be on, right? So you can have different colors, but as long as it has that blue in there. Okay. So there's some different things, how the Ashkenazi do it, or the Sephardim, how they do it. You got to have that blue thread. You got to have that blue thread, okay, called tekalith. And so the tekalith is one of the colors that is used in the tabernacle. The tzitzits that I have on today have all the colors of the tabernacle in them. So I have the argamon, I got the purple. Let me show you. I got the purple, I got the crimson, I got a couple little beads on someone put on, but I also have the blue in here. I got the tekalith, okay, and I got the gold to represent the, you know, the badger skin and all that kind of stuff. So you can have different colors as long as you have that blue thread in it. So I hope that can answer your question. So look on them, remember, and do the commandments. So, and so you can keep your eyes. So that guy who's picking up the sticks on Shabbat, he forgot. He forgot because they didn't know what to do. That was the first time they had that experience. What are we going to do with this person? I don't know. Put him aside. Let's see what Yahweh says. Yahweh says you got to be put to death. And then after then he says, and again, Yahweh said, he spoke to him concerning the tzitzit. Immediately after that, it's because he's saying that these people are forgetting. These people are very forgetful people. They get distracted easy. So I need something to distract them away from turning their eyes to do what they want to do. Because he did what he wanted to do that day. And as a result of that, he lost his life. If he wasn't part of Israel and he picked up a stick, it wouldn't be a problem. But because you're in Yahweh's presence and you're his people, he says, if you did that, you're going to die. Because I'm attached to you. So if you guys are living holiness, when you're attached to me, you have to do these things. Because it's for your benefit. The tzitzits are not for me to look upon. They're for you guys to look at. So you can keep all the commandments. You know, you tell your child, hey, you know, you got your, when I was growing up, my mama said, I said, Mom, I lost my key to the house. She said, you better not lose it again. So she put it around my neck. I wouldn't lose it. You understand? So it's a reminder. You know, we need reminders. We are human. We make errors. We've already read that in chapter number 4 and 5 of Leviticus. There's going to be things that you're going to do on an error. There's going to be things that are inadvertent and something's not done on purpose. So Yah makes provision. He's not this hard, let me kill you Elohim. He's just saying, if you follow me, these are the rules. Now, whether that man did that on purpose and unintentional or whatever, he forgot. Even if you forget, it doesn't mean that you're not guilty. That's what Yah's been telling us. So we are guilty. We are. And if we want to tell the truth, and we don't play religious games. You know, I don't wear my tzitzis because I want somebody else to see them. I'm looking at it for my own safety. Have I forgotten to put my tzitzis on? Yes, I have. And when I was out, I was like looking for them, like, wait a minute, I'm missing something. Because I had a pair of sweatpants on versus my other pants. You see what I'm saying? Or my shirt. I got stuff that tzitzis are, you know, sewed into my different shirts and different everything. So it's just something that's an awareness. But don't worry, one day you get back to the land, you'll definitely have your tzitzis on. That's not going away because that's a command. Hallelujah. Thank you for that question. Does that answer? You have any more questions about that?
Yes, one more. Since most of the garments doesn't have 4 corners, so should we wear shirts or dresses, clothes that has 4 wings, or can we just have shawl with 4 wings? I mean, 4 wings or 4 tzitzit.
Well, at this point, we're in exile, right? Do the best you can, right? So, you know, if you got a garment or a shawl that has that with the 4 corners, that's good. Yeah, it has the tzitzit on it. Yes. Anything that can cause you to remember, you know, when we get into the land, that's when we won't be able to mix the cotton with the polyester and the wool with this and that. Everything will be the way it's supposed to be right now. Yah's not trying to, you know, get us to be burdened with it because he knows where we're at. But he's just saying, I just need to be cognitive of what they represent. And there's nothing wrong with you. They could be at any length. They could be smaller, or just put a blue thread in it. And it's a nice little way for you to remember. That's all. It's a nice thing for you to remember, you know, but it is a command. And it's for both male and female.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Toda rabah.
Toda rabah. You're welcome. In Bedma. Anyone else? Well, thank you guys so much for coming today. And if you have time later on today, I'll have my class as I have some beautiful PowerPoint slides and be able to show it to you. Yahweh, we thank you today for this opportunity to come to you. Blessed be your name. We thank you for the Shabbat. We thank you for the Lashon HaKodesh, Yahweh, just the little bit of what we do know we thank you for. We thank you for the people who were able to come today and those who weren't able to attend today. We thank you for your parashah, Bo, Yahweh, to go and to come, to feel and to enter. We thank you for revealing to us that we are your witnesses and that we do have a responsibility to you to make our appointments. We made our appointment with you today and we're celebrating you today. We're going to celebrate you with food and drink. We're going to celebrate you with mind. We're going to not be absent in our understanding. We're not going to look at you as being a burden to us, Yahweh, but we're going to celebrate you because you made yourself known to us and you revealed yourself to us. And we thank you for that. We thank you for those who are listening on Zoom and those who are on YouTube, Yahweh, and those who are on Facebook. We thank you for them. We ask that you would prepare us to see you in the coming days. We thank you. We praise you. We lift up your name. Hallelujah. 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 Praise be to the Holy One of Israel.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you today
Shabbat
at 4
shalom.
o'clock if you like to
Shabbat
come.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.